Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan, your bass player with the Winery Dogs. You listen to me right here on the Brutally Delicious podcast.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious podcast. The Brutally Delicious podcast. The Brutally Delicious podcast. The Brutally Delicious podcast.
Good to finally catch up with you.
My pleasure.
Been a long time. I remember seeing Talus back in like mid 80s at Lemoore in Brooklyn.
Oh, legendary shows, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you have video at all?
Yeah. There it is.
Ah, sweet. Yeah, legendary shows back at Lemoore.
Yeah, we wouldn't go on stage until 1 a.m.
I was thinking about that the other day, like living in New York, some of those shows, I mean, like you said, it's 1 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, even later. We were getting home like 4:30. I couldn't do that now if I tried.
No kidding, same here. Our crew would be loading out after the show and the sun would be coming up.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And Lemoore was such a great place, like legendary.
Fantastic. Oh, it's great. I loved it.
So anyway, let's talk about the Winery Dogs.
All right.
So new album 3, I guess, released last week. What's been the response so far?
Overwhelming. We number 3 on the all-inclusive charts on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. So, and number 1 on the hard rock charts. I haven't had time to check on it lately because I've been responding to my social media comments and emails, and it's, no joke. It's really been a pleasant surprise. It's quite overwhelming.
And that's pretty cool, though, right? Because after I think it was about 7 years since the last record, right?
Yeah.
In the weird culture we live in, where the attention span is like 30 seconds, it's nice to be like fully accepted that many years later.
People can't remember what happened last week, let alone.
I know. I mean, you look at this, like the one song, 30 seconds people listen to, and then they move on. So that's great that you're, fully accepted and back in swing again.
Yeah, it's very nice. Well, we have some incredible fans. We're pretty close with them. Our first tour, we took a break and did a camp, where we got together and had musicians come and we'd play with them and fans, and at this setting in upstate New York, and jam-packed with people. We made a lot of lifelong friends, really. And so we've always been really close with our audience anyway. So that's really nice to see. And they've been very kind to us, as witnessed this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned tour. You guys are getting ready to go out on the road again. What's it like preparing post-pandemic? You're getting ready to get back out there again.
Good question. It's chaos because I haven't played in 3 years. So I had to get all my gear together, my wireless together, my bass pedals together, my basses, you name it, all kinds of stuff I had to do. So I've been working flat out for about the last 2 weeks. Finally, everything's about ready to be packed and picked up. And then our first show is the 15th, I believe, in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
Right.
And that's a great spot for us. I remember back in the days, we were talking earlier, Lemoore days, there's a club there called Stage One, and we used to play there all the time. And great city for music area there in Greensburg. It's right outside of Pittsburgh. So that's a nice place to start.
Nice. So I know you're a professional, been doing this for most of your life or whatever, but do you have any nerves after being, or concerns after being, away from playing live for so long? Or is it just going to be like riding a bike?
Oh, it's very much like riding a bike. I've done it thousands of times, literally. Right. Probably, I know I'm over 5,000 gigs. I'm pretty sure I'm over 5,000 gigs. I'm pushing 6,000. So it becomes second nature. But it's more of a anticipation and excitement, to get up on that deck again. And that's my thing. I live to play live, and I play live to live. I'm never a studio guy or anything like that. If you get me on a proper tour bus, I could probably tour indefinitely and never stop.
Right.
It's as long as I got laundry done at some point or another.
So we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you've been in this for so long. Do you is it difficult to get on the road and do this because of we're all getting up in age, right? Do you prepare differently, or?
No, I'm in pretty good shape. Amazingly, I'm very thankful for that. My health is good, no problems. I'm still excited about this thing, this bass. I'd be driving my car somewhere, I get an idea. Oh, I got to get home and try this, you know. So I'm so thankful for that. I don't know where it comes from or how it got built into me, but I'm just still fascinated with this. I can sit with it for hours. I get up, feed the cat, come down here in my little studio and work for hours. And I got my iPhone with me, and I'll put it on selfie video, and I'll play to the phone. Okay, here's the thing. Different than the last thing, but now we do it in a minor key, and you know, just all this bass ideas, song ideas, riffs and licks. And I got my iPhone is pretty jammed with videos of me. Some sitting there in my underpants, so it will remain private. Don't worry.
Right, we don't want to see those.
You don't. But I'm still excited about playing. And a few years ago, a guy wrote to me and said, I've been playing bass for 6 months, and I'm bored. What should I do? And I wrote back, quit.
Yeah, give it up. If you don't have that kind of excitement, it's not worth it, right?
No kidding. I've been doing it for 57 years now, and it's still exciting. There's still so many new things to learn. It's unbelievable.
You couldn't have imagined when you started, though, that you'd be this far into it, right?
No, I didn't. But again, I'm super thankful for that. However, that's built into me.
Right.
That's been a real saving grace, because and in the worst of times, pick this up and go. I tell people, I played bass a long time ago. I'm not doing well in life, and I said, well, go back to playing. It's the best therapy in the world. Or guitar, or drums, or piano, or whatever it is. It's really a wonderful thing, and I think it's a great mental exercise that shows up in abstract ways and other things. I mean, you're mapping things out. There's arithmetic to it. There's logic to it. There's tones and frequencies and identification of sounds, and it's overall a wonderful thing. I wish we had music in schools now, like we did when I was young. There was music appreciation and band and stuff like that doesn't exist anymore, but it's really a great thing for people. There's a wonderful book called This Is Your Brain on Music. I forgot the author's name, but I had written about it, and he wrote to me, and we had a wonderful back and forth. And it just tells what a great advantage it is to play music, to know music, to listen, even to be a fan, to listen. And I'm sure you have music going on in your head.
All the time, right?
All the time. It's unbelievable. That's just kind of a good thing. I have a massive amount, and it's incredible how quickly my memory will come back with the slightest little inclination of a hint of something. I remember I hadn't listened to Disraeli Gears by Cream in probably 25 or 30 years, and I was in LA, and I got a copy on some format. I think it was cassette at the time.
Right.
The moment the first snare hit of Strange Brew hit, I instantly remember the entire record because I listened to
music has the craziest way of doing that. I mean, you can automatically put on, for me, it's a Judas Priest record or whatever, and all of a sudden I'm like back in high school, and
it's amazing
where I was. It's crazy.
Yeah, we and in that particular book, they talk about how old folks, like in old folks' homes, that are having a tough time, just sitting in the corner, zombie-like, find out their age, go to the songs that were popular when they were 16, play those, watch them light up.
Wow.
More often than not, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember this. Come right back to life. My mom, rest her soul, she was on her deathbed, literally. It wasn't an unpleasant scene. She had lived a great life, and she wasn't in pain, and it was a natural thing. And the family was there, and we're kind of standing around and, trying to make small talk and comfort her. And my sister says, you got your laptop with you? I go, yeah. He goes, put some Sinatra on. I did. Man, my mom, oh, yeah, she remembered the song, who wrote it, all the details about his band, like instantly.
That's crazy.
It was kind of a direct line to your recall based on music. Pretty amazing.
Yes. And you sort of tapped on it a minute ago, but it's also super cathartic, right? Playing, absolutely. Listening, everything.
Yeah, it's all being a fan, a listener, a musician itself, toying around with a little instrument once in a while, getting an idea, to be able to pick out a melody on piano keys, Quite awesome. We see now on the internet, we see kids that are like 5 and 6 years old, playing Rachmaninoff
Right.
with one hand. Amazing. I love seeing that. It's just advancing the cause completely, I think.
How does the writing process go about for you guys? I know you're probably all separated across the country, right? Is it mostly like sending stuff back and forth, or do you ever get in a room?
No, we got in a room only. That's how we did it.
Oh, nice.
I think that reflects on this record, and I do believe, I hope, that is the reason why people have taken to it so strongly, because it is a real record, a natural record, done old school, together in a room. I got an idea. How's this bass line? Here's a beat. What key is that in? Richie, play a chord and do some scat singing on top, and bang, there we got the skeleton of a song. Working a little bit more, it's done. Record it. We got it all done in a tiny little, very uncomfortable room. We laugh at Rich all the time because in the house he had before the one he has now, the room was very small, and it had these little chairs, and they're like chairs that somebody got from when a school got taken down. So it was a really uncomfortable, wooden, hard thing.
Nice.
We used to call them the torture chairs. We said, so you had to start to write good or you'd be in pain. So we go to his new house. He got this beautiful, nice, big new house, and the room is actually smaller, I think. And I had to sit on a little amp. Mike's cymbal was right about here next to my ear, and we were jammed in. But it's funny and it's cool, and we don't mind. And it's I love working with a group of people to work on a song.
Yes.
Piece by piece, idea by idea. And a great thing happens, I believe, that everybody contributes to the song. So later on, as you're playing the song, or if the song happens to become a hit or become popular, that's all part of all of you. It's no one's left out. Where a lot of times some guy will come in one song and he wrote it and he did everything. We're playing it, and you're really I enjoy playing it, and my bass part is on there, and that's good. But I would have changed the way they did that chorus,
Right?
But I couldn't say anything. This way we can.
Yeah, and in the end, I think it's more organic and more immediate, and I think you're right. People probably notice.
And I think I'm certainly not comparing myself or anyone I know it to the Beatles, but they were a template for a lot of things. They were one of the first bands to start writing their own songs. And Elvis didn't write a song. Sinatra didn't write a song. The big phenomenon before the Beatles, which was Sinatra, Elvis, and then the Beatles. But the idea that they were the template for many, many things. And how many recordings there are of them in the room working out parts.
Right.
And they do it, and you'd hear the producer, I forgot his name, Beatles producer.
Martin?
Sir George Martin.
Yeah.
Would say, you hear him, what was it? What song? Na 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 na. From Me to You. From Me to You, take 3. And you hear them, 2, 3, and they stop. Wait, no, I thought, okay, all right. Me to You, take 4. And they're in there working it out. And it's and those songs live on.
Yes.
Will live on forever.
There was a fabulous documentary just recently on.
I didn't see it. I thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, on Netflix, one of those places, and I can't even remember the name off the top of my head, but it was fabulous, and it does everything you just said. They're all just sitting in the room, and John's late or something to the rehearsal, and the rest of them are working out ideas, but they're just sitting in a circle.
Yep.
Just going, and I don't like this rhythm, or I don't like this melody, and it's great.
Yeah, really great. I've got a huge, extensive collection of bootlegs, and my Beatle folder is massive. And I've got George Harrison working out While My Guitar Gently Weeps with John Lennon. And they're just sitting on the couch. And it's funny because John's singing it differently.
Right.
Later they adjusted to the way George was singing it. But it was just together with them. So that's what we did. Not because we were trying to do that, but just because we all happen to like it. And I trust Mike and Richie's ideas. Hopefully they trust mine. And working together is a real joy.
And you guys all produced it together. Was that difficult?
No, piece of cake. We're all of the same mind. So there's none of that. There's no real pushback, and somebody has an idea, and I don't feel feel too strongly about it, I'll let it go. And then later I found out, you know what? They were right.
Right.
Maybe I shouldn't have opened my big mouth. And another odd things happen. Sometimes I go, I'm going to say something, but nah, I'll let it go. And then unknown to me, they changed it to the way I was going to say it. So
Oh, really?
it's a funny, odd.
All on the same wavelength.
Yes, it must be.
I really enjoy the fact that you guys released like a full record and took the time to sequence it and do that sort of thing. Because the whole music business has changed, right? We're getting, singles every 6 weeks and people listen to 30 seconds. But old school people like me love that. And because there's a whole art form in sequencing as well, right?
True. It's like a movie, scene by scene. We generally open up a record with a barn burner. Hey, everybody wake up. Because generally you'll start your show with the first song on your first record.
Right.
On your newest record, rather. And so that's always a good thing. And then there's a car chase and a love scene and mystery part, character definition that happens within a movie. And I think it's funny that movies now that are paced oddly, where they start with near the end and then they go back and show you, and then they jump to another time, do the oddball timeline. It's kind of an interesting thing, but sometimes it's really. Why are you making us jump through hoops in order to watch the movie and figure the story out? Could you just tell a great story? Well, maybe they don't have a great story, so they're going to make it all convoluted so that you think it happened. I don't know. But I do like the idea of a record sequence. And Mike Portnoy is our sequencer. He specializes in that. He's a real movie buff, too. And I think that reflects because you pace things out.
Yeah, I've never heard it kind of the analogy like that, but it totally makes sense.
Cool. And a live show, same thing. I've gone to see bands that have like just a worse set list as far as pacing goes. And it kind of, even though I love the band, I love the songs, I go, no, it should go like this.
Right.
You really can make it an exciting night if things are paced properly. So we make sure to pay attention to that pacing. And that would also be related to the sequencing on an album. And us old folks, when we listen to a record, we put it on, side one to play, flip it over and play side two.
And you read the liner notes and you read the lyrics and where it was recorded and who you thanked. I mean, that's all a process for me anyway.
Exactly. And I think that in itself is kind of an incredible form of entertainment, the immersion into an artist's work.
Right. Even before the internet, before anything else, you could be totally immersed into everything you guys wanted to get across, I guess. Yeah,
exactly. And I think a lot of people still realize that. I see now the resurgence of vinyl, where people want to put that needle on and let it go. There's your playlist. The playlist is the artist's playlist. That's it, because he sequenced it. And flip it over and do that. I think it's a good thing. There will always be people that like that. There will always be people that remember that form. There may be less and less of them, but there will always be there, I believe.
I hope so, because it's definitely missed as far as I'm concerned, because people like my son are always kind of just, give me the 30 seconds and then I'm moving on. They have this zero attention span.
Yeah. Anything can change, and anything can change quickly, culturally. That could change very easily at some point and could slip back to the way it was in some form. We've seen that before with other cultural trends or ideas or things where it goes and you think, oh my God, and all of a sudden it's gone. We don't have it anymore. It's out of fashion and it's gone. Well, this isn't so much fashion we're talking about. This is a real, it's like going to an art museum, walking from painting to painting. Those are probably paced too. I don't know, but I would bet that they are. When you walk in, they want you to see that one, and the next one is that one.
You might be right. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised at all. So I think it has a book. It's the same thing. How you sequence that. So it is definitely a part of that. When you tell a story, even a verbal storytelling is like that. So I think that'll always be there. And I believe the pandemic, with people sitting around at home. In their homes and they couldn't go anywhere, we saw a lot of people thinking things through a little differently than they had before.
I 100% agree, and I'll let you go shortly, but I was thinking just the other day that I think we're going to see, like you mentioned the pandemic, but I think we're going to see like an artistic renaissance because everybody was at home like perfecting and honing in on their craft, and not just in music, but you're going to see, and you're seeing it now. Some of my favorite bands are putting out some of the best works they've ever done. You're going to see
great.
art and literature and everything, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I would get up, feed the cat, come down here to my little studio and
work.
hit it for hours and rediscover things I'd forgotten, fine-tune things that I abandoned, and come up with all kinds of things. And I'll see how it goes on the live shows, but already I feel way more confident with a lot more new things and new ideas and new approaches. So there's a silver lining to that very, very dark cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. But that brings me to the end of my questions. What do you guys have? This tour takes you quite a ways, right?
Yeah, we're out for most all this year and spilling into next year now. And the fact that the record is doing so well means even more promoters from different countries and areas are contacting us for dates. So it's going to be a long year, but I'm ready for that. I'm ready.
That's good. It's better than sitting home for sure.
That's for sure. Absolutely.
Awesome. I want to thank you for taking the time and for your contributions to the hard rock scene. Like I said, been a fan forever. Great to speak with you.
Very kind of you, Bruce. Thank you for having me on, and wishing you the best. And if you get out, if we're playing near you anywhere, come on out to a show. And my best to your listeners. And thanks for having me.
Thank you, my friend. Stay safe on tour, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it, man. Thanks a
Be
lot.
well. Righto. Bye.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.